The prayer this morning will be offered by the good delegate representing Prince George's and Charles County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let us pray. Lord, we come before you today, Lord, to say thank you, Lord. We thank you once again for another opportunity. We thank you, Lord, for another opportunity to be in your midst, Lord. We ask that you just strengthen us and guide us, Lord. We ask that everything flow in decency and in order, Lord. We pray for a special blessing on every single leader that's in this room. And we even pray for a special blessing for our entire family as well, Lord. So we just thank you, and we're grateful for this time. And everyone in General Assembly say,
Amen. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. There being 124 members present, the House is now in session. The clerk will read the journal from the previous day.
Annapolis, Maryland, February the 27th, 2023.
Recognizing the Deputy Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Move so much be considered the reading of the journal.
So ordered. Petitions, memorials, and other papers. House resolution. Recognizing the sponsor to introduce the group or individual.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Hey there. How's everybody doing today? It's Read Across America Day. I hope you donated your book. You can bring a book and you can donate it. I have one about Elijah Cummings. Makes me very proud to donate today. On Read Across America Day, our nation recognizes the value of literacy to our democracy. We celebrate the books that inspire our children to dream big, expand the limits of their understanding, and explore diverse perspectives and cultures through the eyes of others. We honor educators, parents, librarians, authors, mentors, and legislators, and everyone who has fostered the power of reading to open doors and opportunity and build greater awareness about the complex world around us. Dr. Seuss wrote, "The more you read, the more things you will know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go." In other words, knowledge is power. First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, a lifelong English teacher, said, "Loving to read means loving to learn." On Read Across America Day and every day, let us nurture our children with the resources and support they need to become proficient and passionate readers. Let us make books accessible, reading fun, and education, most of all, meaningful. We have up here three wonderful guests. We have Cheryl Boast, who is the president of the MSCA. Teresa Dudley, the vice president of MSCA. And the president of Sesame Street, Elmo.
Okay. Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to the Maryland State Education Association in recognition of celebrating a nation of diverse readers and the 25th year of the Read Across America program. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this third day of March 2023.
House resolution recognizing the sponsor to introduce the group or individual.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm very excited that this morning, continuing in the theme of education, we are honoring our 2003 Maryland Teachers of the Year. The Maryland Teacher of the Year program, administered by the Maryland State Department of Education in partnership with many leading organizations, celebrates public school teachers who are outstanding leaders in their schools and communities. The mission of the program is to spotlight and recognize the excellent work being done by our teachers throughout the state. It also helps to draw public attention to the importance and invaluable contributions of the teaching profession, as those who choose to teach are truly among Maryland's finest public servants. Every year, each of Maryland's 24 school districts recognizes their County Teacher of the Year, and out of this group of outstanding educators, one Maryland Teacher of the Year is named. As a proud graduate of the Baltimore City Public Schools, I'm very pleased to say that the 2023 Maryland Teacher of the Year, Beryl Dudney, a pre-K teacher from Commodore John Rogers Elementary Middle School in Baltimore City. Woo! She was announced during a live television event on Maryland Public Television this morning, and we are joined today by Ms. Dudney and by Ms. Regina Simpson from MSDE. We also have the 23 County Teachers of the Year with us in the gallery, and Ms. Simpson will be reading out their names. Thank you so much.
Will the reading clerk please read the resolution in full?
Be it hereby known to all that the House of Delegates of Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Beryl Dudney in recognition of being named the 2023 Maryland Teacher of the Year and for your leadership and commitment to students in Maryland. The entire membership extends best wishes on this memorable occasion and directs this resolution to be presented on this third day of March 2023.
In case you're wondering, this is the whole Baltimore City delegation.
That's right. So I fought 45 battles.
But none of them here is going to any of them here?
Yeah, they're up there. I've been asked to read the names of the 23 Teachers of the Year that are sitting in the gallery. I'll start with Allegheny. Please stand when you hear your name. Allegheny County, Amy Rice. Anne Arundel County, Charles Whittaker. Baltimore County, Alicia Freeman. Calvert County, Rachel Ulmer. Caroline County, Murder Valdez Bradner. Carroll County, sorry, that was Caroline. Carroll County, Erica McAndrew. Cecil County, Natalie Fleischer Pyle. Charles County, Morgan Hungerford. Dorchester County, Philip Sham Albert. Frederick County, Jonathan Kurtz. Garrett County, Amy Beeman. Harford County, Ashley Girelli. Howard County, Jordan Lim. Kent County, Karen Cardy. Montgomery County, Jonathan Dunn. Prince George's County, Evelyn Policarpio. Queen Anne's County, Cassandra Hostler. St. Mary's County, Melissa Kernan. Somerset County, an all-around birthday girl, Jennifer Carey. Talbot County, Catherine Spees. Washington County, Elizabeth McDonald. Wycomico County, Rebecca Matthews. Worcester County, Kristen Cashman.
Congratulations all. Introduction of House bills. The clerk will read the bills and their committee assignments.
House Bill 1292, Delegate Charkoudian. House Rules by order of Sylvia Seeger, Chief Clerk.
Clerk will read the bond initiatives and the committee assignment.
Introductory House Bond Initiatives number 47, February 28, 2023, referred to appropriations.
Message from the Senate, consent calendar number 10, Senate bills introduced in the House. The clerk will read the first bill and committee assignment.
Senate Bill 15, Senator Carter, Judiciary.
Recognizing the majority leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. So much be considered the reading of SB 15 as the reading of all the bills on the calendar.
Hearing no objections, the bills are read the first time and are referred to the appropriate committees. Quorum call.
Madam Speaker.
Clerk will take the call. There being 132 members present, the House is still in session. Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 12. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 140, Unemployment Insurance, Recovery of Benefits, Limitation and Methods.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 125 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 140, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 144, Real Estate Brokers, Inactive Licenses, Requirements After Expiration.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will take the call.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. Recognizing the gentleman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My button didn't work on House Bill 140. I'd like to be recorded in the green.
Okay. Is everyone recorded? The clerk will take the call. There being 105 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 144, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 145, Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission, Police Officer Certification Eligibility.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate?
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing the gentleman from the Eastern Shore.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Could the floor leader rise just for a couple questions?
Floor leader, vice chair.
Sure thing.
Thank you. Before I take the vote on this, could you just tell me what the bill does? Thank you.
So there is a bill we passed a few years ago that would allow non-citizens to be eligible to be certified as law enforcement officers in Maryland, provided they were seeking citizenship here lawfully, otherwise meet the requirements to become a law enforcement officer. And it had a provision in there that said if you were denied that application, you would be decertified. And so what this bill does is it removes the bit about citizenship and clarifies that this applies to people who are honorably discharged from the armed services. And with an amendment this year, we clarified exactly what branches those are. So what the bill would do is say honorably discharged members of the armed services who are lawfully here, meet all the requirements to be a law enforcement officer, background check, mental health, agility, that they could be a law enforcement officer without regard to their application for citizenship.
Okay, so this sounds like a fairly narrow bill that is amending or correcting. Okay. Could I ask you another question? Was there any opposition to this bill in the hearing?
There was some opposition. I believe the state police didn't like this bill, but I just want to clarify a couple of things about this. The bill, number one, so the goal is not to have people who aren't seeking citizenship. I expect that most of these folks, maybe all of them, would like to be citizens. But the process is cumbersome, it's expensive, it can take quite a long time, and it puts a cloud on their employment, especially with the provision we had in there that said they would be decertified. So a number of other states do much more than what we're doing here. There's at least another dozen states that allow non-citizens to be police officers. Only one of them requires them to be honorably discharged veterans, and only one of them requires them to be on the path of citizenship. A whole bunch of these just straight up allow non-citizens. Louisiana, Maine, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Washington, West Virginia, Vermont, Colorado, Hawaii. A bunch of them allow dreamers to be police officers. Again, I think the policy we're asking here is very reasonable in light of the police officer shortages many local departments are having. Last thing I'll say before I shut up, and this is sort of to what the state police are saying, again, this just makes these officers eligible to apply. It allows them to be certified. It doesn't guarantee any hiring or placement for any of these non-citizens who are seeking to become police. No law enforcement department is going to be forced to hire non-citizens. So, but there are many agencies in the state, and if some of them feel this is appropriate for their hiring problems, I think it's a good move.
All right, last question, and I'm sure it will be a quick answer. So if someone makes the application, if I understand this correctly, and they're in the process of getting their citizenship, and let's say a year goes by and they didn't actually get their citizenship, if there was some ongoing reason why they weren't fulfilling the obligations of getting citizenship, what happens to this this person that becomes a police officer?
So today, they would be decertified. And so that agency that, you know, again, this is a person that's honorably discharged from military. They meet all the other requirements of being a police officer. They're not criminals. They're not here illegally. But that one thing, their citizenship application was denied. It could have been for any number of reasons. They would lose their job, and that agency would have wasted all of that time on training on that officer.
So would they remain to be a police officer even if they don't get their citizenship? That was my question.
This is the problem we're fixing. So under this bill, that officer would be allowed to remain on that force.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Is there any further debate?
Madam Speaker.
Recognizing gentlelady from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I hope the body has read this bill, and I certainly hope that you've read the state police's opposition testimony. They're opposed to this bill, and other states are doing things, but this state has taken great strides in police accountability over the last number of years. We've dealt with police corruption, police brutality, police accountability. We've had things in Maryland like the Gun Trace Task Force. There's a website called the Marshall Project. I encourage you to take a look at it. It tracks police corruption. And one thing I know that we all agree on, we want the best law enforcement officers that we can get. We want to make sure that every single applicant is the highest quality, because we reject police corruption, and we've done a lot to stop that. What this bill does, according to the state police's testimony, which you can pull up and read right now, it makes background checks of the applicants very difficult. Contacting references can be problematic. If the applicant is a U.S. citizen, Maryland law enforcement can either make a personal visit in the case of the Maryland resident or contact another law enforcement officer, agency where the applicant resides. With an applicant from a foreign country, the agency must rely on the police department of a foreign country or Interpol. I don't think I have to remind you of police departments in other countries being notoriously corrupt, specifically Mexico, that has a serious problem with police corruption. So for these and other reasons, I urge you to vote red to ensure that Maryland's police departments have the highest possible candidates that they can have. Thank you.
Recognizing Vice Chair and sponsor of the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Not the sponsor of the bill,
I'm
actually.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Just floor leader in this case.
Yeah, I see it when I
well, colleagues, you can scratch Mexico off your bingo card. They managed to work it in. That was my fear with this bill, that people would be looking for a way to make this into one of those bills that we're forced to talk about seemingly every year. So here we are. I guess we're having the immigration debate. I'm happy to have it on a bill about honorably discharged members of the U.S. Armed Services. Okay? These are veterans. They swore an oath to uphold the Constitution and laws of this country. They did it. We put a gun in their hands. They defended the country, and they were honorably discharged. They would now like to do law enforcement in our local communities who are saying they have a shortage. I can name many officers, you've seen the story, some of them from your communities, who have engaged in misconduct who are citizens. Okay? That's what the bill you're talking about was for. Because we didn't have these non-citizen police officers. So all of the problems you're talking about were from U.S. citizens. I just want to be clear about this. Colleagues, honorably discharged U.S. veterans who meet the agility, mental health, and some limited criminal background check. If that's not good enough for you, I don't know what else to say, but this was a bipartisan vote. I hope you support the bill, colleagues.
Gentlelady.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. With all due respect to the floor leader on this bill, that is not what the state police of Maryland have submitted in their testimony. As the daughter of a career Army veteran, of course we all respect and value those who serve our country. And we also want those who want to be in law enforcement to get their citizenship. Get your citizenship and then join the police force. Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Baltimore.
Yeah, I didn't plan on speaking, but I just have to support my colleague, and I absolutely agree 100% in the fact that I think all of us speak here with nothing but respect for anybody who served in the armed forces. But my only reason for speaking, I do not think that I personally can support the idea that citizens of the United States should be policed by people that are not citizens of the United States. I hope they get their citizenship. I thank them for their service, but I don't think that that's a principle that I would support. So thank you.
Gentlelady from Prince George's.
Madam Speaker, I would just say that if an individual who is not a citizen of the United States can serve to protect this country, then certainly they can serve to protect our communities. Thank you.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just briefly, the Maryland Military Coalition of 150,000 uniformed, uniformed servicemen and women and their families, almost half of the 355 veterans of the state, wrote a letter of support stating that this bill, HB 45, would expand the pool of potential law enforcement officers by using honorably discharged veterans, whether or not they are pending a citizen application. They've demonstrated a willingness to serve our country and our community. They have been vetted, passed a background check, trained in the safety use of weapons and the rules of engagement. Many non-citizen veterans have had to serve in the military police, masters at arms, provost marshals, and other law enforcement assignments. These people are vetted, they are capable, and they should be able to serve. Thank you.
Is there any gentle lady from, where are you from, Frederick?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This has been an interesting floor debate. So I voted for the original bill. I was happy to and proud to. But I just want to talk a little bit about immigration, the actual process, because I don't know how many people in here have done it, but I've gone through it with my husband. He had a green card. There's a waiting period. Some people can keep their green cards forever, but if you're on the path to citizenship and you don't get citizenship, if you're denied for some reason, you will likely be deported. So I think that there's something missing from this conversation. While we want these men and women to be able to serve on our forces, if they're being denied citizenship, they're not staying here. It's very unlikely that they'll be staying here. So I don't know if we're really having a debate about the practicality of what's going to happen for these folks. If they're denied citizenship, they're on the path and they're denied it, they're probably going home to their original country or to another country. So I just want to remind people that this is a federal legal process and that there are ramifications for denials.
Recognizing the minority whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just have a couple questions for the floor leader, if I may.
Floor leader.
Yes.
Can a lawful resident serve as a military police officer if they're not a citizen?
I could not tell you the qualifications to be a military police officer.
Okay.
My colleagues are shaking in the armed service. They're shaking their head yes.
Okay. So the one question that I have is, and I'll just give you a brief story. I am proud that my grandfather was an immigrant. Matter of fact, through a loophole, because my great-grandparents were actually born in Newfoundland, and they had to go back because of a sick family member. My grandfather was born back home, and because of that, he was not a citizen. And he lived in the United States for many years, and World War II broke out. He joined the military, became a squad leader in the Battle of the Bulge, Silver Star with valor, almost died several times, and that's how he earned his citizenship. And our family is so proud of that. And the question that I have is, why wouldn't a lawful resident who joins the military, why wouldn't they pursue that citizenship while in the military? Because I know that there is a fast track to support lawful residents that serve in the military to get their citizenship, and that's a good thing. We want that. You know, this is the tip of the spear. We want that, but it makes me wonder why they chose not, in many cases, to pursue citizenship through the military, and instead they come out, and then here we are. And so I don't know if you have a question for that, but I will tell you, I am proud of the fact that my own grandfather earned his citizenship by going to war for this country. And I'm just curious why these individuals chose maybe not to pursue their citizenship through the military, which they probably had the right to do, and a fast track to do so.
You are absolutely right. The only thing I can tell you about that is life happens. These folks joined the armed services. They were willing to sacrifice their lives for you. Some of them did lose their lives. Not only do we have a process for citizenship, we have a process for posthumous citizenship. Those people who didn't apply, were non-citizens in the armed services, risked their lives for you, died. Well, we try and go ahead and give them citizenship after they're dead anyway. And guess what? Their families don't even get the benefits of the posthumous citizenship when you get citizenship in that manner. So we can come up with lots of scenarios, lots of families that end up one way or a different way. The immigration rules were probably very different at that time. We had quota systems at different points. Haiti or Cuba or whatever country you come in for, our geopolitics dictates whether we let you in or send you back. This is a very confusing process. So again, if you were willing to sacrifice your life, you in fact did swear an oath to the Constitution. The military says you did everything we told you to do. You're honorably discharged. You're meeting agility requirements. You're meeting fitness requirements. You're meeting mental health checks. You've gone through the academy. You're now for certification. And you know what? The state police don't even have to hire you. They don't even have to hire you. This is just about making these people eligible for some law enforcement agency in the state that's having a problem. And I will be very candid, my city of Tacoma Park has its own police department, and we allow non-citizens to vote in our city elections.
Can't say I'm surprised.
I'm just telling you, there are lots of different law enforcement agencies. The parks in Montgomery County have their own police department.
Okay.
The parks, okay? If you got a problem with an honorably discharged veteran serving as a park police officer for Montgomery County swing sets, I don't know what to tell you. You got a problem. Colleagues, please support this bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Interesting debate. It's Read Across America Day I learned this morning, so I want to encourage you to actually read the testimony from the Maryland State Police, because it was suggested on the floor that somehow this small group of people might be inherently more corrupt than anybody else, and that is not what the Maryland State Police testimony says. So I just want to correct the record on that briefly. This is a relatively small group of people we're talking about. These are people, as the Vice Chair said, we handed a firearm to and sent overseas in many cases to ask to defend this country and our values. Most of them, frankly, will go on to try to pursue citizenship, but there is a small subset that won't, and we want to capture that subset if they're interested in serving in our law enforcement agencies. We have a big vacancy problem in state government, as the Speaker has always told us, and that includes our police. The Maryland State Police have a high vacancy rate, and my subcommittee deals with the Department of Natural Resources budget. We can't find enough police officers to count how many fish people are catching and how many people are going into the parks at night. If we can't find police officers for those duties, we really have problems with some of our heavier lifts that we ask our law enforcement for. So we need more people in law enforcement, not less. This is a group of people interested in serving. We're creating a very narrow subset for them, and I would ask the body to support this well thought out, well crafted, and narrow piece of legislation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Getting a citizenship is not like going to the Walmart and picking up a gift card, okay? And the fast track that has been referred to, you should know, was removed for a while. It's back now. The current administration has reinstated it. But who's to say that that wouldn't disappear again under another administration? And so it's important for us to make sure that what might be even a more difficult process than it is right now is not holding people back. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, sir. Gentleman from Ann Arbor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just a quick question for the floor leader, if I could. Is this only for honorably discharged veterans?
That is correct. Dishonorable discharge does not apply.
Okay, does it mention anything in the bill about, because you can take an admin SEP or an OTH or a BCD, which is a bad conduct discharge, and upgrade them? Does that language in the bill, does that speak to that?
It says honorably discharged. Let me find the exact language. So I don't think it's addressed, but the exact language is honorably discharged.
Only honorably discharged?
Yep.
So anybody with an OTH or an admin SEP wouldn't be eligible?
It just says honorably discharged veteran. Yes. Yes.
Hold on a second. What I just did. Okay. All right. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I just want to point out to the members of this body that currently we are already being protected by immigrants who are serving in our U.S. Armed Forces. Many of you know that my son is currently at an Emirati Air Force base in Abu Dhabi, and he is serving alongside of, has trained alongside of, and actually commands many immigrants who do not currently have their citizenship, but who are fighting to keep us free and to protect him. And if he is so encouraged by the Germans, the Polish, the Mexicans he is serving beside and has trained with, they are protecting him, and I will proudly vote for this bill so that they can also protect me if they choose to do so. Thank you.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 110 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 145, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 669, Real Estate Appraisers, Licensing and Certification Qualifications.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 669, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 909, State Commission of Real Estate Appraisers, Appraisal Management Companies, and Home Inspectors, sunset extension.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 909, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1225, Real Estate Brokers, Disability or Death and Termination of Employment of a Broker.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1225, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Recognizing the gentleman from...
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Vote change on HB 144 from red to green.
Any other votes? Gentleman from Anne Arundel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Button didn't work on HB 669. Recorded in the green, please.
Okay. Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 13. The clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 137, Civil Action, Civil Immunity, Educator Intervention.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 137 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 137, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Did I say that backwards? Just reverse what I just said. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 209, Corporations and Associations, Revisions.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 209, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 379, Commissioner of Financial Regulation, Name and Organization of Office.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 132 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 379, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 397, State Investment Portfolio, Investment Thresholds, Alterations.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 397, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 463, State Board of Architects, Sunset Extension.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 463, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. First bill. Clerk will read the next one.
House Bill 662, Real Estate Brokers, Salespersons, and Associate Brokers, Continuing Education Courses, Alterations.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 131 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 662, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Calendar of third reading, House Bills number 14. The clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 27, Commercial Law, Consumer Protection Act, Floral Wire Services.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 130 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 27, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 30, Environment On-Site Wastewater Services Board Fees and Penalties.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 98 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 30, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 72, Business Regulation, Charitable Organizations.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 133 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 72, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 123, Vehicle Laws, HOV Lanes, Plug-in Electric Drive Vehicles.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 103 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 123, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 131, Criminal Law, Unnatural or Perverted Sexual Practice, Repeal.
Is on third reading and final passage. Is there any debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change their vote?
To explain my vote.
Okay. If not, the clerk will take the call. Gentlemen, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minority Leader.
To explain my vote. So what I want to make very, very clear, I voted for this bill. and I voted so out of an abundance of good faith for my friends and colleagues in this chamber who explained to me what they believe the purpose and the intent and the reasoning behind the bill is. And I agree with that intent. There is a community that has felt that this is a particular marginalization of them and something that could be used to criminalize, even though there's not much record of it being successful, thankfully, to criminalize something that is not criminal. But I also want to make clear that for the individuals who voted against this bill, I believe that all of them in good faith and in good conscience only did so for one reason and one reason only. And that is because the amendment that we suggested that still technically in the world that exists, the vote could be characterized as you voted to remove a criminal sanction for what we would commonly view as bestiality, something that no sane person, no normal person, no person of any morality believes should not be criminalized. So I hope that the body considers that. I hope that we think about the intent of many of the amendments that we offer here is not to be partisan. It is not to try to critique or criticize or disturb the committee's work, but it is to try to reach a product that all of us could vote for and feel good about instead of something that is splitting the difference and leads itself to perhaps misinterpretations in the public body beyond these halls. So I thank everyone's consideration and debate on this bill, and I hope in the future that we can work a little bit better together to come to something we can all stand up for. Thank you.
Gentleman from Eastern Shore.
Madam Speaker, on House Bill 131, I'd like to change from red to green.
Any other vote changes? We took the call. I'm sorry. Huh? Yeah, okay. Okay. House Bill 131, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 229, Employment for Minors, Opportunities for Work.
It's on third reading and final passage. Is there
Madam
any
Speaker.
debate? Gentleman from Anne.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a question for the floor leader, please.
Floor leader.
Yes. Thank you. I noticed in the fiscal note it referenced that the people who receive access to the telephone number, address, and name of people 16 years and older that have this permit, the fiscal note referenced that there was no prohibition on the individuals, groups that can get access to that, transferring that information. It's at the very end of the fiscal note. I'm just curious, did the committee consider that, any kind of requirement that not be shared? That's my first question. And the second question is, I believe a parent has to either sign or fill this out for their child. Did you consider a checkoff that the information can be shared so that the parent has control over whether or not their children's cell phone number is shared with a third party?
So to your first question, the parents have to opt in proactively. So no, the committee did not discuss that part that you asked.
So the parents do have to opt in to allow the information to be shared?
Absolutely. The parents have to agree, or the minor have to agree to be shared. It's only the most basic information, so that those organizations that are licensed to hire the minors who have work permits from Department of Labor and who are properly trained can be contacted for opportunities, for job opportunities by those organizations.
Not to be redundant, just to be clear. So on the application for the work permit, the parent checks off, yes, you can share my child's information with the opportunities.
Right. They
Thank
have
you.
to give explicit consent. Thank you.
And the last part, at the bottom of the bill, or the fiscal note, the fiscal note writer mentioned that there's no requirement that that third party not share that information. Is that something that was considered?
Well, because those organizations that receive the information are the registered organizations, there are other rules guiding them as to what information, how they can use that information. So it's very limited information shared with very regulated organizations for that context.
I appreciate you including the parents in the
Thank you.
application process.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any further debate? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Madam Speaker?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone care to change your vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. There being 112 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 229, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed.
Madam Speaker.
Yes. Gentleman from Baltimore County.
Thank you. Vote change for HB 140 to red. Thank you.
Any other vote change? Oh,
Madam Speaker.
gentleman from Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 144, I'd like to be recorded in the green, please.
Any other vote changes? Message from the Chief Executive, Supplemental Budget Number 1. Clerk will read the supplemental budget and the committee assignment.
March 2nd, 2023. Dear Madam Speaker, pursuant to the authority conferred on me by Article 3, Section 52, Subsection 5 of the Constitution of Maryland, and in accordance with the consent of the House of Delegates duly granted, I hereby submit Supplemental Budget Number 1 to House Bill 200, Senate Bill 181, in the form of an amendment to the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2024. Supplemental Budget Number 1 affects the previously estimated funds available for budget operations as shown in the following summary statement. Sincerely, Westmore Governor, referred to appropriations.
That ends the work at the desk. Committee announcements. Appropriations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Appropriations Committee will not meet today.
Judiciary.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, the House Judiciary Committee will have a voting session at 1 p.m. 1 p.m.
Environment and Transportation.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Environment and Transportation Committee will continue public hearings at 1 p.m. After the public hearings, we will have a voting session.
Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Ways and Means Committee will not meet today. Have a great weekend.
Economic Matters.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Economic Matters Committee will be meeting at 1 p.m. for 2 bill hearings.
Health and Government Operations.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Health and Government Operations Committee will meet for a very long voting session. Please come immediately after we meet with rules. So please look at your emails. When we're done with rules, we'll meet for voting. Thank you very much.
Any? Yes.
Rules Committee.
Rules.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. The House Rules and Executive Nominations Committee will be meeting at noon on Zoom, and we have bill hearing on 5 bills and voting to re-refer several bills. Thank you.
Any other subcommittee announcements?
Public Safety.
Public Safety and Administration.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Public Safety and Administration will meet Monday at 3 p.m. in room 145. Thank you.
Which one are you? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Public Safety Subcommittee for Judiciary will meet Monday at 4 p.m. via Zoom.
Any other subcommittees? Real property.
EMS. The Fire and Emergency Medical Services Coalition will meet on Monday at 3 p.m. via Zoom. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any other subcommittees? Okay. Not seeing any. Any delegation announcements? Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Baltimore City House delegation will be meeting on Monday at 10 a.m. on Zoom.
Any other delegations? Okay. Any caucus announcements?
Madam Speaker?
Transit? Yes, Transit
Yes.
Caucus.
Thank you. Just a reminder to the members of the Transit Caucus, we will be meeting on Zoom at 2 p.m. on Monday for a presentation from the Washington Council of Governments.
Any other caucus announcements?
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
The Waterman's Caucus
Waterman's.
will be meeting Monday night, 6 p.m. via Zoom.
Any other caucuses?
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
Oh, back there.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. On behalf of the Women's Legislative Caucus Executive Committee, I want to thank everyone who donated so generously to our clothing drive. We needed a bigger truck, and as we sit here right now, my Chief of Staff, Josh Paper, is delivering over 1,000 articles to the House of Ruth. So I want to thank you so much. These donations will do so much for so many women and children. Thank you so very much.
Any other caucus announcements? Anything? Any personal or guest announcements? Recognizing the gentleman from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise today so that we can all recognize National Triplets Day. I rise not because I'm Uncle Sandy to two great twins, Rachel and Elliot, but one of a handful of members who remembers when a then member of the Speaker's staff very proudly announced to this House that he was the father of triplets. Both the father and the mother were alumni of our budget staff, and they, of course, timed the birth so that it was during session, but that staff member would be available and ready to go on sine die. Thank you.
Okay. Any other personal or guest? Yes, gentleman from Prince George's.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have two guests upstairs right now, and I'd like to bring attention to them. A lot of times, you've all heard me speak about the MBEs, the Minority Business Enterprises, that we fight so strongly for to make sure equity and inclusion is a reality in the state of Maryland. And so I've invited two special guests here. First, I want to have you indulge me with welcoming Gerard Moten, who used to be one of my constituents before he decided he wanted to move to Montgomery County. But Gerard Moten is the CEO of Goldman Edwards, and it's an MBE right here in the state of Maryland. And so Gerard is doing some phenomenal work in the federal space, and we're happy to have him here. Additionally, we have Sonny Bajaj. Sonny is a former MBE, and this is one of those success stories that we talk about. He's another Montgomery County resident, but he's a success story. He started off as an MBE, and now he brings in over $500 million annually and has over 2,500 employees in the state of Maryland, and he's adding to the revenue. And this is why we fight for the MBEs, to make sure that they can grow like Sonny and then provide opportunities and employment in our community. So we're going to continue to fight for our MBEs, and we want to thank you, Sonny, and thank you, Gerard, for the work that you're doing to employ the people of the state of Maryland.
Any other personal or guest announcements? Yes. Gentleman from, where are you, Anne Arundel?
Anne
Yep.
Arundel. Thank you,
Anne
Madam
Arundel.
Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, I have some guests in the gallery as well. I would like for them to stand up. I want to introduce my parents, Stuart Sr. and Lynn Schmidt. She was an educator here in Anne Arundel County for nearly 20 years, and her sister and her husband, Kathy and Pete Bullard from Mississippi. He is retired Chief Warrant Officer, United States Coast Guard, 28 years. A round of applause for my family. Thank you.
Any other personal or guest announcements?
Madam Speaker?
General Lady from Hartford.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would just like to make an announcement. I was listening to the Today Show this morning, and they said that today is to wear blue day for colorectal cancer. And so I just wanted to make sure that everybody gets their loved ones as well as themselves get a colonoscopy when you're supposed to get it. And I know that the men have the biggest problem with it, because I'm fighting with my husband because he hasn't had one in 14 years, and he doesn't like to have the whatever. But anyway, I just really want to stress that, because I had a senator, Senator Hooper, who passed away from colorectal cancer, and it could have been avoided. And I just want to make sure everybody takes care care of business. Thank you.
Thank you for that personal announcement. Any other? Okay. Today is Friday. Protocol Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Come on down, my little sunshines. Haven't they been wonderful this week? I have seen them march up and down these aisles, and they have been taking care of all of you wonderful delegates. I just want to thank you personally myself. So today is Friday. And so when I call you, I want you to step up and wave to your delegates. Okay, you ready? First one up is Jaden Burney, Montgomery County, District 17, Richard Montgomery High School. Aiden Jug, and the Runner County, District 33, Severna Park High School. Charles Ray, Baltimore County, District 42B. Wait a minute, I lost my spot. You know, when you get 29, you can't see, you know. What could I say? Okay, I'm going to go to the next one since I can't find it. Samir Nasir, Carroll County, District 42C, Gertail Academy. Kayla Patel, Anne Arundel County, District 33, Severna Park High School. Margarita Sata Gertrude, Montgomery County, District 18, Northwood High School. And finally, Michael Tran, Montgomery County, District 14, Springbrook High School. Again, I want to thank you. We all want to thank you all for being so wonderful. Sometimes it's your second time around, but it won't be your last. And I can't wait to see you on the third time around over here. Okay? Nice sunshines. Thank you very much for your service. And Madam Speaker, yes, will you make sure that everybody knows, please help the poor little delegate, okay? I'm still on the begathon here, okay? Sometimes you have to do what you got to do. So I'm going to be waiting for everybody. I'm going to give you 2 more days. Monday, come see me, please. And y'all have a great weekend.
Quorum call before adjournment.
Madam Speaker.
Has everyone recorded their presence? Clerk will take the call. There being 133 members present, the House is still in session. Recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move the House stands recessed until Monday, March 6th at 8 p.m., Legislative Day, February 28th.